And I'm about to talk to you about something that is extremely personal, but I'm bringing this to light because it shows how extreme they are when it comes to keeping their people and controlling them. And that is in regards to having children. I actually became pregnant in February 1996 with full intention of having a kid with my husband. I was 17 at the time. When I told my husband, he was understandably a bit surprised and scared, and I mean, who wouldn't be a bit scared as a young couple, or even not being that young? You know, your first kid is something that you could have nerves with, you know? When we informed the commanding officers of our organizations, I was told by the commanding officer of my organization that she immediately started telling me that at this point the baby wasn't a baby. It was just tissue. And earlier, about a few months earlier, she had found herself pregnant, and in fact she hadn't realized she was pregnant until she was about 14 weeks pregnant and had gotten an abortion because it was the greatest good, quote unquote. She started pushing how important my job was, how it would be so detrimental to the organization if I were to leave, how neither me or my husband had any money, nor would we when we left if we had children. And after 2 days of this, of constant pressure and, you know, being threatened with the fact of if I left, I would have no money, I would have no life. There's, you know, most people, even at an older age, don't succeed. I had no schooling. There would be no way that I would be able to support a child. And that was what they were continually repeating to me. I know for a fact I would have been able to support a child if I had gone through with it. But after, you know, days of this, I conceded and had an abortion. And, you know, the other day, about a week and a half ago, I went in for a deposition, and the lawyer for the Church of Scientology actually asked me, actually he kept rewording questions to get me to say that I agreed to have an abortion. I never agreed to have an abortion. Did I concede? Yes, I did. Does it kill me every day? Yes, it does. In fact, the last, you know, my last thought when I went in to get the abortion, in fact, I said the word, I said, wait. It was not what I wanted, but, you know, unfortunately, the circumstances went down as they did. And the whole subject of wanting to have kids continually came up with me while I was in the Sea organization, to the point where finally in 2001, I was sent to what's called the Rehabilitation Project Force, also known as the RPF in the Sea organization. What that is it's basically you're sent there for punishment. They consider it, you know, they're wanting to rehabilitate you, quote unquote, to get you back and working on a regular post. But really what it is you're just sent there to do intensive, hard labor for them. And, you know, you're put in total segregation from the rest of the world. I was separated from my spouse. I was separated from everyone that was important to me. I wasn't allowed to speak to my family. You're not allowed to have more than $20 on you at any given time. You're not allowed to go anywhere without another person. You're watched 24/7. There's always someone, you know, out in the hallway awake outside your rooms. And I was there for almost 3 years in the RPF. I could go on and on. Unfortunately, I don't have too much more time. But in the end, I knew that if I had said, you know, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to leave, as others have said, you know, you go through extensive handlings to be kept there. I knew that if I said I wanted to leave, I would be put on what's called the RPF's RPF, which, you know, I'm already working. It's already intolerable circumstances. It's even more intolerable in the RPF's RPF. And in fact, a friend of mine had been there for 8 months in the RPF's RPF trying to leave. So I did something that I knew that would get me kicked out immediately. And I actually took a gulp of bleach because I knew that if I was considered a suicide risk, that they would get rid of me immediately. And they did. I was not suicidal, but that was the extreme that I went to get myself out of there immediately. After I left the RPF, I actually still considered myself a Scientologist for several years. In fact, I paid, you know, I think it was Mark mentioned a $100,000 freeloader bill. I also had a bill from them saying I owed them $120,000 for the services that I had gotten while I was in the Sea organization. So after spending 13 years of working 100-hour weeks, I owed them money. And I actually paid them $10,000 after I left. And it took me about 4 years to realize that what happened there is not right, and somebody needs to do something about it. And that's why I'm here today, to start opening up people's eyes to what occurs in the Sea organization, because it's not right, and something does need to change. Thank you.